Okay, picture this. The year is 2026, and the entire global economy is grinding to a halt. It's not a pandemic, it's not some Wall Street crash, no. It's because one single strategic waterway on the other side of the planet has been locked down. And this isn't some far-off what-if scenario. We're going to break down a speculative timeline of a crisis that could seriously bring the world to its knees, step by terrifying step. This is the exact question that keeps military strategists and economists up at night. And for a really good reason. Because when that flow of oil stops, the modern world, it just stops right along with it. So that's what we're going to explore right now. What a full-blown lockdown of the Strait of Hormuz could actually look like. All right, so to really get a grip on the scale of this thing, we've got to start with the geography. We are talking about the single most critical economic and military choke point on the entire planet. Just take a look at this map. This incredibly narrow strip of water connects the Persian Gulf to the open ocean. It's the only way out by sea for all of those huge oil reserves in the Middle East. So if you control this strait, you literally control the energy supply for whole continents. It is, and this is not an exaggeration, the jugular vein of the global economy. And this is the number that really matters. 20 million. That's how many barrels of oil used to pass through that strait every single day before this whole crisis kicked off. A literal river of black gold that powered factories, heated our homes, and fueled pretty much all of our transportation. Well, as of February 28th, 2026, someone just built a dam. So when that river of oil gets dammed up, who's the first and biggest victim? Well, it's the world's factory floor. A nation whose entire economic miracle is built on that constant, uninterrupted supply. Of course, I'm talking about China. This right here, this shows you just how incredibly vulnerable China is. A staggering 50% of its oil imports came right through the Strait of Hormuz. So in one day, half of the country's entire energy supply just vanished. The lifeblood was cut off, literally overnight. And maybe the scariest part is just how fast everything falls apart. The dominoes just fell with terrifying speed. Look, the blockade kicks off on February 28th. By the middle of March, that's just 2 weeks later, we're seeing widespread factory shutdowns. By early April, the huge Gwadar port in Pakistan, a key piece of China's Belt and Road project, is totally idle. And by the end of that month, the entire multi-trillion-dollar initiative is collapsing. I mean, just look at this chart. It says it all. The engine of global manufacturing, this powerhouse that built everything from our phones to massive cargo ships. It's effectively seized up. And this drop-off isn't some minor slowdown. It's a straight-up cliff. From Shanghai all the way to Shenzhen, it's the same story. The world's factory has gone dark. But here's the thing. This wasn't some random accident or act of chaos. Oh no. This was a calculated, strategic power play by the architect of this crisis, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC. This quote, from an unnamed official in the IRGC, it really says it all, doesn't it? The message they're sending to the world is absolute, it's defiant, and it is completely non-negotiable. They've turned off the spigot, and they're refusing to turn it back on. But here's the really clever and dangerous part. It's not a complete blockade. It's what analysts have started calling Tehran's toll booth. As you can see from this list, some ships are just waved right through. Tankers from countries like Turkey and India, they're approved to pass. But any ships flagged to the United States or its allies, like the Stena Imperative and the Prima, they get attacked. It's a strategy designed to split the international community and put on the maximum possible political pressure. And make no mistake, this isn't just a threat. The blockade is being enforced with deadly force. Since February 28th, we've had 21 confirmed attacks on so-called unapproved tankers. We're talking drones, fast boats, sea mines. The IRGC is throwing everything they have at this to make the blockade brutally effective. So you've got this perfect storm, right? China is being economically starved. Iran is doubling down. And what started as a regional crisis has now spiraled completely out of control, pulling in the world's superpowers and pushing everyone right to the brink of a massive global conflict. So you've got this global standoff. On one side, a U.S. administration under Trump has issued a clear ultimatum, reopen the strait now. And on the other, you have the IRGC's absolute defiance. These are two immovable forces on a collision course, and the fate of the world is hanging right there in the balance. And what about the rest of us? Well, the economic pain is immediate and it is severe. Oil prices have absolutely skyrocketed, blowing past $100 a barrel. That's triggering massive inflation and threatening recessions in every corner of the globe. No one is safe from this. Which, of course, leads to the most urgent question on everyone's mind. With all this global pressure mounting, is there some kind of diplomatic off-ramp? Can this crisis be solved and the strait reopened by May? Or does desperation force a much, much more drastic move? With its economy in total freefall and its people facing real hardship, does a starving China decide to take military action just to secure its own energy lifeline? And that, right there, leaves us with the most chilling question of all. You have a regional power play, a superpower brought to its knees, and an unbreakable standoff. Is this how a third world war actually begins?